How could a civilization that existed thousands of years ago have had such a profound impact on human spirituality and culture? The ancient Sumerians, who flourished in the area between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, left behind a cultural legacy that still resonates today in many different traditions and beliefs. From creation myths to laws and ethics, many aspects of their society remain invisible yet powerful, shaping our understanding of the sacred. Premonition will tell you why. Sumerian influence on the Hebrew Bible. The Hebrew Bible, composed of a diverse range of texts, reflects both cultural and spiritual influences from surrounding ancient civilizations. The Sumerians, as one of the earliest recorded civilizations, left a significant imprint on the religious and mythological traditions that influenced later texts, including the Hebrew Bible. The similarities between Sumerian myths and biblical stories, especially regarding creation and the flood, suggest that some of the theological ideas found in the Bible could have been influenced by or evolved from earlier Sumerian stories. For example, the concept of a divine flood that wipes out humanity, as seen in the stories of Noah in the Bible and Utnapishtim in the Epic of Gilgamesh, showcases a potential cross-cultural exchange for a shared mythological foundation. The questions arise: did the Hebrews adopt and adapt these ancient myths? Or did they develop their unique understanding of divine intervention and cosmic order from shared regional beliefs? Furthermore, themes like the creation of humanity, the divine decree, and the establishment of moral order in both Sumerian and Hebrew narratives reveal common threads in understanding the divine's role in shaping human destiny. By examining the Sumerian influence on the Hebrew Bible, we can uncover how ancient mythologies interweaved with the spiritual traditions of the Israelites. The Sumerians, a civilization that shaped spirituality. The Sumerian civilization, flourishing around 3000 BCE, was a cradle for many ideas that would influence future religious and philosophical traditions. The Sumerians developed complex pantheons and rituals that were integral to their understanding of the cosmos. Their mythology was a fusion of the divine and the natural world, explaining how gods shaped every aspect of existence, from the rise and fall of empires to the cycles of nature. Sumerian beliefs placed a significant emphasis on the role of divine will in the natural world. Their gods, such as Anu, god of the heavens, Enlil, god of the air, and Enki, god of water and wisdom, governed various aspects of life. This belief system had profound implications not only for religion, but also for governance, law, and daily practices. The Sumerians believed that the gods provided moral guidance through laws, rituals, and myths, and that the king was seen as the intermediary between the gods and the people. Sumerian spiritual thought influenced many other ancient Near Eastern cultures. Babylonians, Assyrians, and even later cultures like the Israelites may have absorbed or adapted elements of Sumerian religious thought into their own belief systems. By understanding the spirituality of the Sumerians, we can see how they shaped not only the religious landscape of their time, but also the theological foundations of future civilizations, including those of the ancient Hebrews. The Enuma Elish, the Sumerian creation myth. The Enuma Elish stands as one of the earliest and most influential creation myths in human history. This epic recounts the genesis of the world and the rise of the Babylonian god Marduk, who plays a key role in bringing order to the cosmos after defeating the chaos goddess Tiamat. This myth not only served to explain the origins of the universe, but also provided a theological justification for the Babylonian monarchy, as Marduk's victory was seen as a divine endorsement of the king's rule. The parallels between the Enuma Elish and the biblical Genesis are striking. In both myths, the world begins in a state of chaos, and divine beings work to impose order on the universe. Genesis describes the earth as formless and void, with the Spirit of God moving over the waters, mirroring the chaos in Enuma Elish. Both creation narratives also involve a separation of elements. In Enuma Elish, Marduk splits Tiamat's body to create the heavens and the earth, while in Genesis, God separates the waters to form dry land. These similarities suggest that the Israelites might have been exposed to Sumerian or Babylonian creation stories during their exile or through other cultural exchanges. Whether the Hebrews were directly influenced by the Enuma Elish or independently developed similar themes is a topic of debate, but the parallels are undeniable. The Epic of Gilgamesh and the Sumerian flood myth. The Epic of Gilgamesh is perhaps best known for its story of a great flood, which bears striking similarities to the biblical story of Noah's Ark. In this epic, the gods decide to destroy humanity with a deluge due to its corruption. However, Utnapishtim, a character similar to Noah, is warned by the god Ea to build an ark to save himself, his family, and representatives of the animal kingdom. After the floodwaters recede, Utnapishtim releases a dove, a swallow, and a raven, similar to Noah's actions in the Bible. The convergence of these two flood narratives is striking. Both stories involve divine warnings, the construction of an ark, the preservation of life, and a post-flood ritual, such as sacrifices to the gods. The similarities are so strong that some scholars argue that the biblical account of Noah's flood may have been influenced by the Sumerian or Babylonian version, or that both stories share a common cultural heritage dating back to ancient Mesopotamian traditions. The flood myth in both Sumerian and Hebrew traditions can be seen as a reflection of the shared belief in divine judgment and the desire for renewal. In both narratives, the flood serves as a divine purification, wiping away the sins of humanity and giving rise to a new era. The presence of these shared elements raises important questions about how ancient stories traveled and evolved across cultures. Sumerian myths and the evolution of Jewish spirituality. The Sumerians' influence on the evolution of Jewish spirituality is significant, particularly in how early Jewish thought transformed and reinterpreted the mythologies and traditions of neighboring cultures. The Israelites, though fiercely distinct in their identity, were not isolated from the civilizations around them. They absorbed and adapted elements from these cultures, including the Sumerians, integrating them into their own religious framework. One of the most profound ways in which the Sumerian influence is seen is in the evolution of the concept of God. Sumerian mythologies were polytheistic, with a pantheon of gods, each governing various aspects of the cosmos and human affairs. However, the Israelites reinterpreted these myths in light of their developing monotheistic worldview. The creation myths, for example, were reimagined not as the work of a chaotic pantheon of gods, but as the action of one all-powerful God, Yahweh. This shift marked the beginning of a new spiritual path, wherein Yahweh not only created the world, but also personally interacted with his people, shaping the course of history through divine intervention and guidance. Additionally, the moral codes embedded in Sumerian myths, such as the Enuma Elish or the Epic of Gilgamesh, often conveyed a vision of a world governed by divine justice, order, and moral responsibility. The Israelites adopted these ethical foundations, but through the lens of monotheism, refining them to emphasize a singular moral lawgiver, Yahweh, who imparted commandments that were absolute and universal. In doing so, Jewish spirituality evolved into a more structured and unified religion, centered on the worship of one God, and also marked by a personal relationship between God and humanity, a theme that would come to define later Jewish thought. The Sumerian influence thus served as a foundation, But it was the Israelites' ability to adapt and transform these myths and ideas that contributed to the birth of a distinctive monotheistic faith. As such, Jewish spirituality is both a continuation and a radical departure from the religious traditions of the ancient world. Cultural and religious exchanges, the role of Ugarit and Canaan. Ugarit, an ancient city-state located in modern-day Syria, played a crucial role in the development of the religious and spiritual landscape of the ancient Near East. The city flourished between the 14th and 12th centuries BCE and was home to a wealth of mythological and religious texts. These texts, particularly those found in the Ugaritic cuneiform tablets, provide us with a detailed view of Canaanite religion and its influence on the religious ideas of surrounding cultures, including the Israelites. One of the most significant religious cycles from Ugarit B is the Eobal cycle, which narrates the exploits of Baal, the storm god, and his struggles against chaotic forces, including the sea god Yam. The Baal cycle shares several thematic elements with the Hebrew Bible. In particular, Baal's battles against Yam and other gods to restore order parallel the biblical stories of Yahweh's victory over chaos and evil forces, such as his defeat of the sea in the creation narrative as in Genesis, and his control over the forces of chaos during the Exodus, e.g., parting the Red Sea. The struggle between order and chaos, embodied in the figures of Baal and Yahweh, is a central motif in both Ugaritic and Hebrew texts. The Ugaritic texts reveal how the Canaanites conceptualized divine intervention and the divine right to rule the world. In this way, Ugaritic mythology influenced the Israelite conception of Yahweh as a god who governs nature, battles chaos, and enforces divine justice. In addition to mythological influences, the religious practices of Ugarit, including temple worship and ritual sacrifice, also contributed to the development of religious traditions in the broader Canaanite region, which would later impact Israelite religious customs. Though the Israelites rejected much of Canaanite religion, the symbolic themes and archetypal figures found in Ugaritic texts likely left a mark on the early development of Jewish spirituality, particularly in their understanding of Yahweh as a warrior deity who defeats evil and chaos. The influence of Egypt on the Hebrew Bible. The relationship between Egypt and the Hebrew Bible is a deep and complex one, particularly regarding the Exodus narrative. The story of the Israelites' liberation from Egyptian slavery under Moses' leadership is one of the most pivotal episodes in the Bible, and it holds profound theological significance for the Jewish faith. It is widely accepted that Egypt's cultural and religious traditions had a lasting impact on the shaping of Israelite identity and theology. In ancient Egypt, pharaohs were considered gods or divine representatives on earth, often depicted as the protectors and saviors of their people. The theme of a divine leader intervening to save a community was central to Egyptian religious thought and can be seen in the figure of the pharaoh, who was expected to be a protector in times of crisis. The role of Moses in the Exodus, as a divinely chosen leader confronting the pharaoh, echoes similar themes in Egyptian religious traditions, where divine figures often stood against oppression to deliver their people. Additionally, the plagues that afflicted Egypt in the Exodus story have parallels in Egyptian literature, where gods would punish and deliver judgment upon those who disrespected divine authority. The themes of divine justice and judgment found in the Exodus, with the plagues and the ultimate victory of Israel over Egypt, resonate with the role of Egyptian gods, who were believed to administer justice in the world. The Israelites' experience in Egypt also had a lasting impact on their religious consciousness. The idea of God as a deliverer, one who rescues and redeems, became a central aspect of their faith, influencing the development of Jewish theology and identity. The Exodus narrative became a defining moment in the history of Israel, reinforcing the belief in Yahweh's power to deliver his people and establish a covenant with them. Moreover, Egypt's role in the Bible extends beyond the Exodus. Egypt frequently appears as a place of refuge, such as when Abraham and later Joseph sought safety there. Egypt's influence on the Israelites, therefore, was multifaceted, encompassing both direct interactions and the broader cultural and religious exchanges that shaped the Jewish faith. The Phoenician influence on Israel. The Phoenicians, an ancient seafaring civilization from the region of present-day Lebanon, played a crucial role in shaping several aspects of ancient Israelite culture, particularly in the construction of the Temple of Solomon, one of the most sacred landmarks in Jewish religious history. Known for their advanced skills in shipbuilding, trade, and craftsmanship, the Phoenicians were instrumental in providing the necessary resources and expertise for one of the most ambitious building projects in the ancient world. The relationship between the Phoenicians and the Israelites was particularly evident in the alliance between King Hiram of Tyre, a prominent Phoenician ruler, and King Solomon of Israel. This partnership is highlighted in the biblical narrative, particularly in the book of 1 Kings, where it is described that Hiram provided the Israelites with valuable resources, including cedar and cypress wood, luxurious materials that were ideal for the construction of sacred structures due to their durability and symbolic significance. The significance of the collaboration between Hiram and Solomon goes beyond the mere provision of materials. It represented a strategic political and economic alliance that benefited both nations. The Phoenicians, skilled in maritime trade, were able to supply not only the timber needed for the temple's construction, but also the expertise of their craftsmen, who were renowned for their woodwork, metalwork, and overall construction techniques. This collaboration ensured that the temple was not only architecturally impressive, but also symbolic of the unity and shared divine purpose between the two peoples. Moreover, the Phoenician influence on Israel extended beyond the construction of the temple. Their expertise in trade, particularly in luxury goods such as purple dye, glass, and metalwork, contributed to the development of Israel's own trade networks. As the Phoenicians established colonies along the Mediterranean coast, including cities such as Byblos and Sidon, they opened up avenues for cultural exchange between Israel and other ancient civilizations, including Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Greece. The symbolic significance of the Temple of Solomon, built with Phoenician materials and craftsmanship, cannot be overstated. It represented the dwelling of God among the people of Israel, a place of divine presence where sacrifices and rituals were conducted. The temple's design and construction also reflected broader architectural traditions in the ancient Near East, which were influenced by Phoenician, Egyptian, and Mesopotamian styles. Thus, the influence of the Phoenicians helped shape not only the material culture of Israel, but also its religious and architectural identity. The collaboration between King Solomon and King Hiram also serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of ancient civilizations. The Phoenicians, with their vast trading networks and expertise in craftsmanship, contributed significantly to the cultural and spiritual development of Israel, ensuring that the Temple of Solomon stood as a testament to both the divine presence and the cultural exchanges that defined the ancient world. The Israelites absorbed and transformed influences from neighboring cultures such as the Sumerians, Canaanites, Egyptians, and Phoenicians, which helped shape their distinct religious identity. This syncretism enriched their faith, enabling them to reinterpret ancient myths and practices to reflect their devotion to one God while maintaining cultural connections. If you enjoyed this story and the cultural influences that shaped the Bible, subscribe to the channel to stay updated on fascinating topics like this. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode, and share it with those interested in these discoveries. See you in the next video.